Hi everyone, it's Tish with Naptime Creations. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. And if you're new, don't forget to subscribe. It's free and it'll help me out a lot, so hit that subscribe button. Today we're going to be making a resin pyramid with this dried rose. So let's jump in and get started. I actually dried these roses myself. I just bought some and then hung them upside down for about 2 weeks, and that's it. But before I use these in any resin pieces, what I like to do is dip them in some resin. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking this rose, very carefully pushing it down and very slowly pushing it down into this cup of resin. And you can see there's quite a bit of bubbles bubbling up. This is going to help seal your roses or your flowers. You want to be gentle when you do this because when you dry flowers like this, they can be brittle. So just carefully kind of dip it in there a few times. And then I have this little piece of styrofoam. I'm just going to stick the stem into the styrofoam and let it dry for 24 hours before I use it. And I will say I should have used a thicker resin. On this, I actually used the liquid diamonds. So I recommend using a thicker resin when you seal your flowers because that's going to seal them better. I did have an air bubble show up on this flower or on this pyramid, and I think it was because I used the liquid diamonds to seal the rose. I should have used like Total Boat tabletop epoxy or something thicker. I feel like that would have sealed the rose a little bit better. So I just wanted to throw that tip out there. This is my pyramid mold. I got this from S RESIN, and it comes with a base. And what I like to do is just sprinkle a little baby powder in there and kind of move it around, kind of like you're going to flour a pan if you're going to make a cake. And that's going to help your silicone insert pop out easier. This mold from S RESIN actually comes with 2 pyramid silicone inserts, which is awesome because you're basically getting 2 pyramid molds for the price of 1, which is nice. So I just dropped my little silicone insert into the base of the mold, and now I'm going to go in with some floral wire, and I'm going to kind of just take my rose that we dipped in resin and see how far I want this to kind of be inside the pyramid. It's just a rough estimate at this point. Take my floral wire, wrap that around the rose, and then going across the top of my mold is actually just a paintbrush. You can use, anything you have on hand. We are going to kind of attach this rose with the floral wire to the paintbrush so it is submerged in resin. You could also use a stir stick if you had a stir stick that was that long. I had this paintbrush and it actually worked out really well. So now we're going to go in with 2 ounces of clear resin, and I actually added some resin dye to this. I added 2 drops of the sky blue resin dye from S RESIN, and I'm just pouring that into my mold. And almost always when you make a pyramid, you're going to get a bubble stuck in the tip of your mold. So I'm just very carefully going in with a toothpick, and I'm going to dislodge that bubble that always gets stuck in the tip. This happens to me almost every time I've made a pyramid. So just very carefully go in there, dislodge the bubble. You could also use a silicone paintbrush if you want to too. Just be very careful. You don't want to scratch your mold or damage your mold. Now I'm going to hit it with my heat gun, pop the few bubbles that I had in there, and then we're going to drop down our rose. I did go ahead and mix up my resin off camera just to save time, but if you're new to resin and you want to see a tutorial showing step by step how I mix my liquid diamonds resin, I will link my holographic crystal tutorial down below in the description box. Be sure to go check it out. I show you step by step how to mix your resin and how to make holographic resin crystals. So here I'm just dropping down my rose. I didn't like where that floral wire was attached, so I just took it off and I'm just going to reattach it to my paintbrush. The floral wire is great for this because it's really sturdy and the rose isn't going to move around once you have it all tightened up and attached to your paintbrush or whatever you're using across the top of your pyramid mold. It's going to keep that rose in place. So here we are the next day. I'm going in with 4 ounces of clear mixed with that sky blue resin dye, and just basically I wanted to fill up the mold enough to cover the bottom of that rose. And another little tip that I have is about 1 hour after you pour, go back in and check on your project and make sure there's no bubbles. I did not do that on this one, and I did have a big bubble on the bottom of the rose. So lesson learned, I should have gone in about an hour after I poured and just checked it to see if there was any air bubbles. Because like I said, those flowers are really porous and they can leak air. So even after you're done pouring, just check it like an hour later. When after you're done pouring, you can see there's no bubbles, but an hour later there might be a bubble. So definitely check it out an hour after you pour. So here we are the next day. I just went in with my little nippers. I love these. I use them for everything. And I just cut off the stem of that rose. Now we're going to go in with some glitter. This is DJ Octo glitter from Island Micas and More. It's one of my favorites. And I dropped in a few drops of alcohol ink to this just to build up the color a little bit. That's a great way to kind of build up the color of your resin or your resin mixed with glitter. You can use alcohol ink or resin dye, and that'll just build up the color of your glitter a little bit. And this is 4 more ounces. I'm just going to pour that right in on top of our other layers. And I'm going to go in with a little popsicle stick or a stir stick, and I'm going to go around the perimeter of my mold just to make sure there's no bubbles trapped in there, and that will dislodge any bubbles. And you're going to see too, I am going to have some little bubbles, and they're going to move towards the center of this pour. And I'm going to go in with some 91% isopropyl alcohol and just give a few spritzes, and that's going to pop those bubbles really easily. You can do that for surface bubbles. It works really great to pop bubbles like this. Just 2 little spritzes, and that's it. I got this little spray bottle from Dollar Tree, and I just keep it in my workspace with a little 91% isopropyl alcohol in it. And here we are. This is 48 hours later, ready to pop it out of the mold. You can see that silicone insert pops right out of the base easily, and that is because we added that baby powder in there. Just be careful. I may have added a little bit too much baby powder, so you don't want to get that inside your silicone mold, inside the insert. So just be really careful. If it gets on your gloves, maybe have like a little microfiber towel or a paper towel nearby so you can wipe that baby powder off of your gloves and it doesn't get inside your silicone mold insert, because then it'll be in there for your next project. So just be really careful you don't get baby powder inside that part of your mold. But here's how it turned out. I think it turned out so pretty. You can see on the back right there, I had that bigger air bubble right here, and that was because I didn't check it 1 hour after I poured. So you guys definitely do that, and I should have used a thicker resin to seal my flowers, but I still think it turned out really pretty. I'll probably end up giving this away as a gift, or I'll sell it as a discounted rate for a discounted rate in my Etsy shop because of the bubble. But let me know what you guys think of this. I hope you give it a try. It's really so easy to do these, and with the pyramid mold, you don't have to fill it up all the way if you don't want to. You could do a mini pyramid like this, or even smaller than this if you wanted to too. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and go check out a few more of my other videos. That would really help me out a lot. Helps out my channel if you watch a few of my videos back to back. And as always, I'll link all the materials I used down below in the description box, along with any coupon codes that I have. I hope you guys are all doing fabulous. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon for another video. Bye guys.